Okay, we got the COPPA stuff here, and yep, there's the copyright warning. Okay, let's go. If you haven't caught up yet, I recommend clicking here for yesterday's video to get full info on it. But if you have seen it, well, luckily for you, I guess. Anyway, this is the segment where we discuss all the film announcements from D23 to D2024. I think it pretty much speaks for itself.
Okay, now let's jump into the movies. There's not really a lot of Marvel stuff announced during it because a lot of the Marvel stuff was announced 2 weeks prior to at Comic-Con. But first look at the Red Hulk that's showing up in Captain America: Brave New World, played by Harrison Ford. So far,
that's not Red, White, and Blue Hulk.
Well, now they have like 4 different Hulks now. The only ones there.
I'm just surprised Harrison Ford is still willing to even do movies at this point.
Well,
I mean, all you have to do is cover him over in CGI.
Yeah. Plus, it makes sense to replace the guy who played Thunderbolt. Like, yeah. Well, I'm still glad Disney didn't recast Black Panther. I'm okay with them recasting that because what we heard about William Hurt.
Well, also William Hurt's dead, so
That's it.
Yeah.
And there was also a little cast check-in from the set of the new Fantastic Four movie, Fantastic Four First Steps, where we actually got our first look at the costumes and very retro comic accurate. I love it.
I mean, I remember when the internet flipped its lid that Wolverine was finally wearing yellow spandex in live action, so I can only imagine how this must feel in this realm.
Okay.
I just only hope that there's a compelling story this time around, because it really seems like for so far, I mean, I'm sure this joke has been done to death at this point, but it's been said so many times by Fantastic Four fans. Man, the only good Fantastic Four movie is The Incredibles.
We're gonna get to that in a second because let's get into the Pixar stuff because now we got a new release date for Elio. I don't know how it's pronounced, except for June.
Elio?
Depends on the language.
Valio.
Yeah.
Valio. Ilio?
The kid with the eye patch.
Julio.
It depends on which Latin-based language you're deriving it from.
Hello.
Its release date was pushed back to June 2025, which I'm not upset about. We still don't really know much about the movie outside of that first trailer that released last year.
It looks
glad
fun.
we're getting something original from Pixar again.
Yay!
And speaking
It's like people that are like, well, you know, the people that are complaining that Pixar doesn't do original movies anymore. It's like we literally got Elemental last year, and we're getting Elio next year. It's like, just go see that.
I actually loved Elemental more than Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
That's because
And a few years back, we had
of a stimulus overload for me.
Yeah, and not only that, at the start of the 2020s, we got Onward, Soul, Luca, and Turning Red.
Right? So, like, Pixar is still making original stuff. It's just for some reason people just aren't seeking them out as much as they should.
And
I think Luca and Turning Red still. Oh, I think Luca and Turning Red still. You know, a lot of people did watch those.
Oh
And
yeah, I
Turning Red
love
still
Turning
sells
Red.
Tons of merch.
Like, I live in a
Turning Red
community
still
where there's
sells tons of merch.
tons. I live in a community where there's tons of East Asian diaspora, and all of them tell me, "Oh my god, this movie is so relatable." So, yeah, it's quite incredible to get something like that.
That kind of stuff is like that kind of stuff. Kind of is my YouTube channel's bread and butter. So I'm like, I love stuff like that. I love when people feel seen by media. I think that's the coolest thing.
Oh yeah.
You know, and plus, like, you know, Turning Red's been getting a lot of park representation at Disneyland this year alone because for the Lunar New Year celebration, I was there for the first day of this year's Lunar New Year celebration. You know, they had the meet and greet for May and Ming set up near the Little Mermaid ride, and I remember I was in the line for the first group to meet her, and we stretched out pretty darn far. I think we were almost to the end of the Redwood Creek Challenge Trail, just for the line for that alone. And plus, you know, for Pixar Fest, they had a whole float for them featuring, like, you know, Abby's, Malin Lee's friends, and even Four Town. So people really like this movie, and I'm really hoping to do more with the characters in the future.
I'm so glad that's the case too, because I right away thought this movie is so adorable.
It's so fun. I love it.
Yeah, so Alio, I have my hopes for it for sure, because honestly, I don't know, it's just always exciting whenever Pixar does do original storytelling again, because now you don't always expect it, so when it happens, even if you're not sure if it's going to actually be good, you at least hold out hope that it's going to be another instant classic of theirs, because they still got it in them, I think.
I truly believe that, and I'm gonna switch two things around on this list because there's another new original Pixar movie that was announced called Hoppers, which, believe it or not, is not related to Hopper from A Bug's Life. Thank God.
It'd be good to keep their distance from Kevin Spacey, especially now at this point.
In this case, we're talking about Christopher.
They need to keep
Oh man, yeah, one of my homeboys technically. Well, not from my part of Canada, but he was Canadian, so we Canucks have to do this. Whenever a Canadian gets acknowledges, we're just like, hey, one of ours.
I mean, it does Hoppers does sort of feel like a bit Avatar-ish.
A bit Avatar.
Are there going to be hundreds of beavers?
Weird we're saying that because those were also announced. Where I'm just gonna get through those two real quick. Freaky Friday, Freakier Friday is gonna be called, and Avatar 3 called Fire and Ash. I don't really have much to talk about those.
I will say
a little random aside about Freaky Friday. So you guys are familiar with Happy Death Day, yes?
Yes.
yeah,
I know of it.
Which is kind of a spin on Groundhog Day. Well, the director also made a movie. That same director made a movie called Freaky, which was a spin on Freaky Friday. And they originally wanted to call it Freaky Friday the 13th. And they got a cease and desist from Disney telling them you cannot do that.
I wanted to say something.
I saw Freaky on the big screen. That was fun, honestly. That was a fun horror twist.
Those are fun. I love those horror twists on classic comedies. And there was another one
I wanted to say something about Avatar: Fire and Ash. So Avatar 2 was The Way of Water. Avatar 3 is Fire and Ash. So obviously 4 and 5 are going to be about Earth and Air, right?
Obviously, because we just needed more. We needed further confusion with the actually great series.
We needed everyone to be like, wait, which one are you talking about? Are you talking about the blue people one or the one with the kid with the blue arrow?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure the filmmaking is going to be impressive. It is James Cameron. James Cameron is no slouch as a filmmaker, but you know, I think the consensus with the Avatar movies is that they are way more spectacle than substance, all the same. And I can see why I had to put up
a damn good time at the movies. Avatar 2 was a damn good time at the movies, and I'm looking forward to all the other ones. It's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, I'm a big fan of James Cameron. I can just acknowledge that the Avatar franchise is definitely way more spectacle than substance, even compared to a lot of his other films. But they're still a good time, in my opinion.
That was the thing when the first one came out. It was the spectacle, not dances with wolves on the planet.
Yeah,
we could do without making more white savior stories for sure. But as far as those narratives go, at least Avatar is one of the better ones.
Yeah.
And if I could say one more thing about Freakier Friday, I think I'm so damn happy that Lindsay Lohan is making a movie again.
Me too, honestly.
Because I'm really hoping that this revives her career in a way, because she deserves to have her career resurrected after all the crap she went through.
Yeah. She did not deserve that level.
Yeah,
I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis has been going through one lately. It's her turn.
She'll join Brendan Fraser and Ke Huy Quan as actors who have just had a massive resurgence. Yeah. And it'll be great. We'll be here for it.
And Robert Downey Jr., because without Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. wouldn't have had his career resurrection.
Right.
Hey, anything is possible.
I forgot to put this on the list. Because you mentioned Ke Huy Quan, because he's going to be in Zootopia 2 as a snake.
Yay!
I'm so glad that his career made a comeback. When I saw his name in the credits of Everything Everywhere All at Once, I flipped my lid. I was so thrilled. It's like, oh my god, Short Round?
His career has been
He's just I want to.
Also, how did he get more adorable? How did middle-aged
nicest guy.
How
He
did
seems like the
middle age make
absolute
him
nicest
cuter?
guy.
I don't know how, but somehow he became cuter as a middle-aged man.
Well, I loved his
Yes,
character
he's
as
great. I love him.
too, so
Yeah.
I think it's kind of hard to hate over.
You know what? I'm kind of hoping he's in. And I know this is getting way ahead of ourselves, but I'm like, I hope he's in the indie ride. That would be really fun.
Yeah, that would be weird.
Okay. I'm gonna get back
I would
to,
love that.
Pixar stuff because there's two things we have got into yet. We got Toy Story 5 details, and this one is the one everybody was making jokes about for years: the toys versus technology.
Toy Story that time forgot.
No.
It's been done.
No.
Didn't we already do that?
Yeah.
First of all, and second of all, why?
Also, why is Woody there? Didn't he run off?
Bonnie, stop watching Coco Melon! Bonnie!
Like a normal person.
Oh my god. I said this in my blog post about these announcements, and I cringed when I heard that was going to be the plotline because you guys remember Incredibles 2, right?
Yeah.
You remember that moment where Brad Bird just grounded the movie to a stinking halt just so he could vent through screensaver about how attached people are to their phones? Imagine that, but for a whole feature, and that's probably what Toy Story 5 is going to be about.
Yeah. I think the franchise should have stopped at 3. I'm probably not alone.
Yes.
Oh, I did enjoy Toy Story 4, but I agree that it ended so well with 3.
Yeah.
And then 5 is gonna undo Toy Story 4's ending. I joked that Woody's gonna wake up next to Jesse and they're gonna do a New Heart parody at the beginning of 5.
Why does that?
Jesse,
it's the
you
same
would
problem as
believe I just had.
It's like Men in Black 2. It's just like, we gotta bring back the Tommy Lee Jones-Will Smith dynamic, so let's undo the way we resolved Tommy Lee Jones's character in the first movie, because we didn't know at the time we would get a sequel, and let's just... that was frustrating. Like, I like Men in Black 2 a lot more than a lot of people do, but I can acknowledge that was so contrived and stupid.
Yeah.
Hey, did we... This is late bringing this up, but I wanted to ask if we wanted to bring up... Sorry, go ahead, Xander.
No, you finish up, Micah.
If we wanted to mention the intro to D20 to... Oh, no, we're going to mention that when we get to the theme park. Right, sorry. My brain...
Yes, we're not there yet. In due time.
Yeah, we're still got...
My brain's been
All
jumping
in-
all over the place. I'm sorry.
All in due time.
We pretty much discussed it a second ago. Incredibles 3 was announced. That one I actually was looking forward to, and I'm gonna say this right now: this better be the last one. Like with Toy Story 3,
Yeah.
I thought Toy Story 3 was a perfect finale. Let's hope for Incredibles 3 to be a perfect finale. Like, make it Brad Bird's swan song.
That'd be pretty great, honestly. Because I get the feeling that Brad Bird is not going to feel too eager to do more with these characters, just knowing how he seems to function as a creative thinker. I mean, he said many times that part of why it took so long to make Incredibles 2 happen was because he just didn't have the mental energy to think of a compelling story to justify continuing with those characters for a while. At least that's what he's claimed. And arguably, part of why the sequel ended up being a little less than the sum of its parts was precisely because at the last minute it got its release date pushed all further forward than it was meant to accommodate Toy Story 4's delays.
Yeah, and Toy Story 4, that's the weakest of the entire Toy Story franchise, in my opinion.
So that's another reason why Toy Story 4 wasn't worth it.
Up until Toy Story 5 when that comes out, like, I would say Lightyear's lowest, but Lightyear's more of a spin-off, and we can disregard that one altogether.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we don't have to necessarily
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Toy Story 5 becomes the second Pixar film to get a rotten score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, I personally want to hold out hope that maybe it'll at least have enough good stuff to not make it a total waste, but the very concept of its existence does feel so hard to justify.
It's like Boomer the movie.
Yeah, because that's the thing. As much as I adore Brad Bird's work as a filmmaker, for instance, one theme of his that I find very difficult to get behind is that he seems to have a bit of a hate boner for tech.
Ironic for someone who works at a computer-generated film studio.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know. The way that Syndrome is vilified... I mean, it's not like there's no point in towards vilifying tech the way that some people do. There's definitely some validity to it, but the extent with which it often goes in this kind of stuff does feel very old man yelling at cloud.
I knew you were gonna go there.
I'm gonna have fun making that as a real picture. Okay, now we got all through the animated stuff. We gotta talk about some of the more live action stuff though. One thing I thought was kind of a weird announcement: a live action movie based on Monster Jam with Dwayne. This is definitely going to be stupid. Johnson involved. Who's asking for a Monster Jam movie?
But apparently Dwayne Johnson was.
Dwayne Johnson, because at this point he'll do anything to try to salvage his career after Black Adam.
That's why we're getting the Moana remake.
Yeah,
that's why we're getting
so soon.
Yeah, that's why we're getting the Moana remake.
What?
It's basically
why on earth?
Like,
yeah, but here's the thing, like, you know, for once, let me just put it like this: for once, a Disney remake was not the brainchild of Sean Bailey. It was basically The Rock's idea it was basically his way to mollify his ego after Black Adam flopped. That's the only reason why we're doing it.
I would not be shocked if that was literally the exact reason why.
I would love.
You finish first, Chandler.
Oh, I would love nothing more than for Mufasa, Snow White, and the Moana remake to all flop and kill off the live action remakes for good.
It's
I have no opinion on the Snow White stuff, so we got that part out of the way. We don't have to discuss Snow White.
Maybe Lilo and Stitch will bomb too. I don't know.
I do find Rachel Zegler likable. I loved her as Maria in the West Side Story movie, but yeah, I don't have a lot of faith in that movie.
Yeah,
it's awful.
May I just say,
genuinely awful.
May I just say, guys, here, let me just say something to the viewers. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It's practically the film that made me the Disney fan I am today. So I'm not looking forward to this remake at all. I mean, in fact, for me, I'm so glad Sean Bailey is no longer with this company because, you know, I think I'm hoping that the idea of remakes I hope the remakes died with him leaving the company. So that's what I'm hoping. And besides, you know, even Eisner was smart enough not to give it a direct-to-video sequel.
Yeah, exactly. Though there were quite a few that were in production at Eisner's departure that didn't get off the ground of stuff from that far back. There was a Dumbo 2 in pre-production for a while.
Yeah, I mean, and there was they were so confident that was going to get made that they actually promoted it on the 2001 release.
Nowhere. Although speaking of movies that became that's becoming a live action remake, there's one I'm cautiously optimistic about. I had to get this.
That's it.
That's also your shirt.
Yeah,
Wait.
It's a.
This is so. I've had a rocky history with Lilo and Stitch. Which, I've always had like a rocky history. Anyway, I've always had like a weird rocky history with Lilo and Stitch because the first time I ever heard the movie, I was watching Disney Channel and they showed the trailer, the crossover trailer with Beauty and the Beast, and they show him.
Oh yes.
Oh, I remember that.
That scared 4-year-old Xander to the point where he was actually fearing this guy. Though later on that year, we actually watched it and I enjoyed it. And, this
and
I've had with me since my first trip to Disney 20 years ago. This week, actually.
Yeah, and let's not forget, like, you know, the other ones, like, you know, where the one where Stitch, where Jasmine dumps Aladdin to be with Stitch in the spaceship.
Yeah.
Or Ariel's big belter moment on the rock is interrupted by Stitch coming in on a surfboard on the big wave.
And of course,
Rafiki lifting up Simba over the Pride Lands, and it's not Simba, it's Stitch.
That Lion King one, there's one featuring Pumbaa, and there's this one featuring I don't know, some kind of weird warthog hybrid thing.
I know after Lion King 1.5 came out, they replaced it to be Timon on Pumbaa's back to be the one to say, "Hey, that's not Simba," in that teaser.
I am so glad.
Well, you know what? At least Stitch was interrupting Ariel and not Jeffrey Katzenberg.
My God.
I have one thing to say about the remake. I'm just glad that Stitch doesn't actually look all that bad. I mean, he'll look a whole lot.
No, he looks fine.
He looks.
I mean,
He looks like the animatronic that used to be in Stitch's Great Escape.
it's a bit like Detective Pikachu. How it's like.
He's still being voiced by Chris Sanders, which is actually a plus. I'm glad he's still somewhat working for Disney while also working for DreamWorks. There's a little gray area there.
Here's the thing: Stitch is cute and he's easy to make into a plush. How the hell are they gonna make Jumba and Pleakley not look horrifying?
Yeah, and photorealistic CG.
The only character they've shown so far was of Stitch. Maybe they're holding off for the first trailer, which is in the movie's set to come out next summer in theaters.
I don't remember the name of the actress they cast to play Lilo, but like, oh my god, she has the weight of the world on her shoulders with this movie.
Maya Kiloa.
Lilo and Stitch is such a special movie. It's such a unique movie because it's probably one of the most real stories Disney has ever told.
Like in terms of family dynamic and all that kind of stuff. Oh yeah. It's so powerful.
It's amazing and powerful and heartbreaking, and it's amazing. It's so good.
And that movie's now old enough to legally drink booze in all 50 states.
And also, headcanon, she is autistic. I will be accepting.
Yep, I agree with that 100%.
I am autistic myself. I'm autistic myself, and I remember seeing that movie in theaters when it first came out, and I felt so seen. Looking at her behavior reminded me so much of some of the.
I mean, come on, the Elvis hyperfixation, and just her being kind of an outcast. It just
and let's not forget her specific routines, like with Pudge and the sandwich.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god, yes. I understood where her brain was, how her brain processed all that reasons to be stressed out about that kind of stuff. I totally got it. I understand how that feels. Maybe not something that specific, but I understood, like, the thought process behind why it was important to do this first before going to dance class and all that kind of stuff. Also, I mean, goodness knows, Chris Sanders, are you going to finally reveal to us the meaning behind Nida Norma Trista?
It's a slur. It's 100% a slur.
Yeah, it's an alien-based slur.
It's an alien slur!
Oh, geez. Well, whoever I just insulted out there in the cosmos, I am so sorry. Please, let me know.
The stupid humans, please don't invade us. Actually, you know, it takes some of our politicians.
Well, I mean, even there in the first movie, it's just like, well,
maybe all of them, please.
Invasion? No, crazy head. The mosquito's primary food source, primitive humanoids of colonies all over that planet.
One last thing I want to talk about.
I love that subversion with Pleakley, but we're gonna if we start praising Lilo and Stitch, we're gonna be here all day. So
please.
The thing I want to talk about the Lilo and Stitch remake is the release, because it was supposed to come out in theaters first, then it's switched to a Disney Plus release. Then back to theaters, and then back to a Switch to Disney Plus release, and now it's fully in theaters. I wrote this down on Discord when it was announced, like, make up your damn mind!
I will destroy anyone who can't make up their mind!
Delightful.
Yeah, was that like a Jumbo? Was that a Jumbo quote from the movie?
That was Dr. Doofenshmirtz.
That was Doof.
That was Doofenshmirtz. That was the one time Perry didn't hold back in kicking Doofenshmirtz's butt because he thought for a split second that Doof was gonna hurt the boys because they had been indecisive that morning. Because Perry loves the boys.
He's a good boy.
He is the very goodest boy. Yes.
Yeah. I kind of forgot that episode happened, but now that you mention it, it's coming back to me. But honestly, the way you said it, the way the hamtastic way you delivered that honestly sounds like it could have been a Jumbo line.
It sounds like it could have been a Jumbo line.
It's like a
kind of a it would be a delightful interaction. We'd get along on so many things.
The difference is
that sounds less Doof, more Yoda.
Yeah, well, Doof is more German, whereas Jumba's more Russian.
Oh, definitely. Hamsterville in the spin-off TV series is more German sounding.
Yeah, yes.
I am Hamster-like.
Okay, now, we got two more things left for the movie stuff. Mandalorian Grogu set for 2026. Again, Star Wars stuff. Do we
Star
really
Wars.
too deep in that?
No.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that I have a little bit of faith in that.
Yeah, and the last one I actually purposely saved for last. Tron Ares or R's set for next year with
Ares.
Ares.
Tron Ares.
The Greek god of war.
By 9 Inch Nails. Now, I was actually concerned about the music because Jared Leto's involved, but I guess Jared Leto doesn't want to be the joke anymore. He was like, okay, you know what? As cool as much as I would want to put my band in, let's get a band that people actually like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have mixed opinions about Nine Inch Nails, admittedly, especially as film composers.
But yeah, 9 Inch Nails is gonna. The thing with Tron is, I remember seeing someone else earlier this week be like, well, they're never gonna replace Daft Punk. It's like that's not the point. Doing a Tron movie is a musician's playground. You got Wendy Carlos to do the original. You got Daft Punk to do Legacy. And so now we have 9 Inch Nails coming in to give us a different take. And it's going to be awesome.
And honestly, if you're going to have 9 Inch Nails do the score for a movie, a Tron movie feels like a good place to have Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross involved as composers.
Yeah, they're gonna kick ass. They are going to blow our minds just like Daft Punk did.
Oh, for sure. Because, that's the thing. Daft Punk's score for Legacy was fantastic. And again, the first was Wendy Carlos, one of the original synthesizer meisters.
Yes. One of the greatest musicians, composers of all time. So, she did the score for The Shining!
And Clockwork Orange. So, yeah, she's
worked twice. She's
incredible. She even worked with Weird Al Yankovic on a version of Peter and the Wolf.
That's right.
She did.
And she's trans like me.
Trans icon, yes.
Exactly.
Trans pioneer, she's wonderful.
Right.
But yeah, Daft Punk, I was surprised to find out how good they were at film scoring, and with 9 Inch Nails, they have a pedigree. I mean, they literally won an Oscar for The Social Network, which in my opinion was one of the worst decisions in the history of Oscars for music, honestly, because it was against How to Train Your Dragon. But I will say, I love.
And they later got the Oscar for Soul too. With
the music they wrote for Soul was really good. That was good music from them, in my opinion. And of course, Dave Bautiste for the jazz music in there, also fantastic stuff. So yeah,
I'm sorry to correct you, but it was John Baptiste.
Sorry, John, but why did I say Dave? But I got him confused with the actor who played Drax. Oh my god, what?
How do you get the guy from the Late Show confused with Drax?
You must be so embarrassed to make that mistake.
I used to know the name was John Baptiste, but for some reason my brain wasn't working properly for a second. But yeah, no, I'm cautiously optimistic about 9 Inch Nails' involvement for a film like this, because this feels like this would be an opportunity for them to really have fun. Because I think that's why I was kind of upset that The Social Network beat How to Train Your Dragon. It's that it's not like the music they wrote for Social Network wasn't effective. It was just so relentlessly dreary that it was kind of difficult to listen to just as music, independent of the movie it was attached to. But the stuff they delivered for Soul was a whole different story. I don't know. I'm very picky about ambient electronic music. When it's immersive in a way that I just like listening to as music, I'm way more accepting of it. But if it's the kind of stuff that only works in a movie, I am of two minds about it, admittedly.
I didn't even realize they did Soul. So yeah, no, they're the right pick for this. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, for sure. I just hope that
my question is, can they do a temporary Tron Ares overlay on Light Cycle Run? That would be cool.
Where are you?
Hey everybody, it's me, Xander. Thank you for watching part 2 of 3 of our D23 retrospective of this past year. I don't know why I keep on doing this stuff. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to follow me for more updates on social media. I'm at XanderBoss on Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon to be notified when I upload tomorrow's video, because tomorrow is the big one, the Theme Parks and More segment. Good God help us all.
My bad.
someone's feeling a grounder, they'll just shoot around her. There's no time to wait.